Hello, hello. I wanted to get started on the classical fundamentals forward and backward right away without any kind of introductions so far. So thank you for attending, and I hope that you will stay through the entire portion. If you do stay through the entire portion, I will tell you about the next section that is soon to come out. So let's get started. Now, classical fundamentals forward and backward seems, I would say, very basic and very fundamental, so hence the name. It is the foundation and basis for just about everything that we do with the horses. So let's get to the next slide. Forward and backward. Leading forward is the basis of all forward movement. So if we don't teach our horses to effectively and kind of in a controlled manner, like in a emotionally and physically controlled manner, it is, if you don't have that, you will have trouble with all of the other forward movement in training. So if you cannot lead a horse forward in a sane and safe manner, you are going to have some other problems. So it is the basis for forward movement in groundwork, forward movement in lunge work, in hand work, and under saddle work. Backing is the basis for speed control. So moving a horse backwards involves halting them from their forward movement and then switching gears and backing them up. So these switching gears mindset that they have to do, they have to stop, they have to change their thinking of what they're doing, and they have to control themselves enough to back up. Backing up is not a completely autonomic natural tendency. Their natural autonomic tendency is to run away, so run forward away from any situation. Backing up involves more of a thinking process. So getting them to do this very basic task is definitely the basis for just about everything else, because it gets them thinking with their logical brain. So do not decrease the value of simply backing your horse. And this goes with simple leading, groundwork, lunge work, in-hand work, and under saddle. This can also be used to get a horse out of your space when being crowded. Not every horse has a crowding issue. Some horses kind of know personal space, they respect personal space, and they kind of demand personal space. But some horses, like horses that are blind, for instance, if they are insecure of their surroundings or worried, they will tend to crowd either you or other horses to the behest of those other horses and yourself in trying to find comfort. So think about this. Their whole world is either dark, blurry, or too bright. Blindness can come in a lot of forms. And they're trying to find some sense of balance and some sense of safety in their condition. So if you can't see where you are, they want to feel where you are. Because when they are scared or nervous, they tend to stop really listening, because the amount and level of listening skills that they need is not completely there when they are scared or nervous. They have to kind of think about what they're listening to and put it together in their brain, and from there figure out whether or not it's a threat. If they hear something quickly move, they will move into a flight response. They tend to. And then it's harder to get them out of that, because it's not like they're going to see that there's no issues or no unsafe things around them. They have to then stop and calm down and listen to the environment around them, which is difficult for a horse to do sometimes. The horses rely greatly on their sight. When they don't have it, they tend to be very insecure. Leading forward and backward in all groundwork positions supports undersaddle work. So a lot of people don't take the groundwork leading forward and back in simple leading very seriously. They're like, I will try to get my horse from point A to point B, and hopefully he stays on the end of the line. And then they will have some issues under saddle and wonder why that is happening. So getting to the actual extreme root cause of the issue, if you cannot lead your horse in a sane and comfortable manner, you will have problems in just about everything else that you do. Now, I'm not saying that this is a reality for a lot of people. It is a rule that I kind of go by. If the horse has been punished quite a lot under saddle, and they know that they cannot be, quote, naughty under saddle, but isn't really paid attention to that much when leading, this can be hidden. This issue can be hidden. So the horse, stops doing naughty things under saddle, but then it's still seen on the groundwork. So that is the same issue, but now you're hiding part of it under saddle. So the introduction to classical fundamentals explains the leading positions. So in this video, we're going to do forward and backwards in all of the groundwork leading positions. Now the under saddle leading position comes later because this groundwork is essential for preparing the horse in mind and body and emotions for all of your under saddle work. So without this preparation, you're going to have a very nervous, insecure horse that will not carry you properly, because when the horse is nervous or insecure, they fail to use their body in a manner that is healthy for them to carry somebody on their back. Leading in all groundwork positions gradually introduces them to the independence that they will need under saddle. So what I'm saying about independence is, yes, they are dependent on you for directions, but they are not following anybody. They are being driven when there's under saddle work. They are following your driving requests, but they don't see anybody in front of them. Now, this may not be a problem for some horses, but for others, it will be a problem. So preparing them with lunge work and with in-hand work will get them more ready for under saddle work before you go and risk yourself and your safety once you get on the horse for the first time. Simple leading. So we're going to go over some simple leading first. So simple leading is the horse is at your shoulder and staying there within a sane and calm manner. You don't want to have the horse directly behind you, because if they spook at something, then they can actually run you right over. So that's why we need them at our shoulder for simple leading. Groundwork leading. So leading in the groundwork position requires a little bit more refinement in the fact that you know the horse is not going to suddenly burst forward or past you. They are no longer trying to really push on you, and you can then tell them what to do while you are walking backwards. Lunge leading is where you go from driving the horse at the drive line, and then you allow the horse to just move in front of you. You stay at the drive lane, and then you direct them into a circle. This is how you start lunging a horse on the circle. You start close, and then you move farther and farther away, gradually and continuously. When you are standing at their shoulder and you are driving them, what you want to do is push them a little bit behind their shoulder blade and then give them a signal with your groundwork whip to get them to move forward. I support this with a walk-on command. So they understand walk on, they understand when you push them kind of in a forward diagonal manner that they need to move forward, and they also at this point should understand that if you tap them on the side or the croup with the whip, they must move forward. And then you support that with your voice command that you should have established in Foundational Horsemanship. In-hand leading. In hand is the precursor to riding, so you are getting the horse to understand what reins are and how to turn one way or the other and listen to two reins at once instead of the one rein during lunge training. You stand in the same position as you do in lunge work, but now you are directing this horse with two reins. Simple backing. Simply backing up the horse, you are using the same directions that you established in Foundational Horsemanship. So the horse should move off of your voice and the tap of the whip on their chest, because like I said before, you have established this in the Foundational Horsemanship part of your training. You need to move back with your horse and just stay with their head because you are telling them to move backwards. Groundwork backing. So this is from the groundwork position. You are looking at the horse and the horse is looking at you, and you are asking them to back up with pressure on their nose, support from the voice, and a touch of the whip on their chest. The horse may be a little sensitive if they're tossing their head like Revan is right here. I needed to resize his lunge cavesson because the leather had stretched. Lunge backing. So this is backing on the lunge line. First you want to start close, just like we did for the forward movement, and then ask them to stop. If they constantly move their butt around to face you, which is natural because we established this in Foundational Horsemanship as a safety feature, we're teaching them something new, so you need to have a different command for this halt than you do for when you're finished lunging and you are leading them in. If they move away from you or don't stop immediately, you can lead them in the lunge position in a circle again and then start again. Always reward them when they do a good job. In-hand backing. So this is backing the horse up in the in-hand position. So you have the two reins. The horse, if they are insecure, they may try to move you back into the groundwork or leading position with their head right by you. Just move backwards with them continuously until they stop and start thinking about what's going on. So just like Revan's doing here, he's backing up, but he's backing up more than I'm asking him to. So I just lead him back into position, wait for him to calm down, and then I reward him later. Now I'd like to talk about some of the problems that can happen with leading. If you are leading the horse forward and the horse is continuously running in front of you and getting out of hand, what you need to do is to stop and start walking in the other direction. So they are then put back into the same position. Now the horse definitely has enough logic process in his brain to put together that you are not going anywhere. And they like progress. Horses, just like people, like to progress forward. So if they are constantly going in circles or forward and backwards and forward and back, and they're not actually going anywhere, they tend to start stopping and start thinking about what we're doing here. So just keep walking in a different direction if the horse bursts out in front, walks faster than you, or is just having trouble with the concept of staying at your shoulder. Stop and then walk in the other direction. And then reward them for being at your shoulder. So the horse comes back up from behind you, they get to your shoulder, stop, and reward them. You keep doing this until they put it together in their brains and stay at your shoulder. You do not want to be into the groundwork position until this is resolved. So you don't move into the groundwork position until you can lead your horse properly forward and backwards in the simple leading position. Because if the horse is out of hand in the simple leading position, when you are in the groundwork position, you are way more vulnerable to being run over. So this is a very important point. The in-hand position, if they are a little bit too exuberant, then you need to move back to the lunge work position. So the lunge work position, you have the one rein, you are also driving them at their shoulder, and you are moving farther away. The safety net that you have with the lunge position is you can always just allow them to move forward and away if they need to, and to get them to self-regulate on the circle. So they're still moving forward, you're just on the circle and you are out of their way. In the in-hand position, you do not have that option. You could lead them in a tight circle, but if they're panicking, tight circles tend to be an issue. So in-hand must be calm, especially since if they run forward, they are running into your hand. So into the lunge cavesson or, God forbid, the bit, because in this type of training, you do not want to introduce a bit until they are calm and they can listen to the lunge cavesson first. This saves their mouth from initial training injuries that can and will happen if you introduce a bit too soon. Alright, thank you for participating, thank you for listening, and if you like these videos, please like and subscribe, and then if you want to become a bit more involved with a few more special privileges, please visit my Patreon and become an official patron of Uplift Equine. Alright, thank you.